So, a pleasant day to each and everyone. I am your reporter for today. Um, Pleasant day especially to our professor, Sir Mohamed Bagulama. We'll be reporting the tax advantage and disadvantages, which is the subtopic of employees, benefits, and services. So, before we discuss to the main topic, I would like to give a brief discussion of why do we pay taxes, where the tax word came from. So let's go. So a brief discussion. So taxation is an imposition of compulsory levies on individual or entities by the government. Taxes are levied in almost every country of the world, primarily to raise revenue for the government expenditure, although they serve as other purposes as well. So taxation really is compulsory. We could really say it because even us students, we also pay taxes. Maybe not like those who are in work, but we pay taxes like VAT, especially in purchasing product in department store. Even us, we pay like bills. It could be electricity or water. There's always a tax imposition to us so that um, we could help or we could contribute to or to raise the revenue for the government expenditure. So, um, according to according to government says in the Philippine Constitution, in Article 6, Section 28 of the Constitution states that the rule of the taxation shall be uniform and equitable, and that the Congress shall evolve as a progressive system of taxation. So, technically speaking, it is really for all. Taxation law also involves in three, which is the constitution, um, the national, and also the local. So according to national internal revenue, is also enact as an act of number 84/24, or the Tax Reform Act in 1997, and subsequently laws amending it. The law was most recently amended by the Republic Act number 10963, or the Tax for Acceleration and Exclusion Act, and local laws or major resources of revenue for the local government units as virtue of Republic Act number 7160, or the Local Code of 1991. So this law was implemented, or this law um, was posed for tax, that tax should be imposition to each and everyone, to be equal, whether it's in national or in local. So have you ever wondered um, where the tax word came from? So tax word came from the old French taxer, means to change, or directly to Latin means taxare, or to evaluate, estimate, assess, handle, or also censored, or to charge. Probably frequently form of tangiere to touch, of course, because we pay tax through money. So that's all. And we now proceed to our next topic. Why do we pay taxes, by the way? Have you ever wondered by yourself? Like, when I was still a kid, I always remember, like, why do we pay taxes? You know, um, um, maybe, um, way back when I was still a kid, I really used to watch Receipt. What was that? There was a no VET. What's the purpose of this? I was really wondering way back when I was, elementary days. So back to the topic. Why do we pay tax? So we pay tax because the federal, state, municipal government enacts tax law. The tax revenue pays for variety governance services. The federal government enacts about the same as the state and the local government, so combined. So technically speaking, we pay taxes because the government um, say so. And we, who oppose the government, by the way? You know, I mean, we really need government services. So why not give back through taxation, or tax, diba? So the tax revenue we use, or the tax revenue that the government use, is the payment for the government services like housing, educational, um, military, and so much so much services that the government could offer to us. So in 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 us as student, especially to me, like since I am a four piece guarantee, so I could clearly see how the government really is helping us for those who are in poor sector, who really needs money to eat just 3 times a day, and also to sustain us through education. Like we're so very blessed we could able um, to access tertiary levels, especially for those who are in purpose, because some purpose can only go to grade school. Some cannot go to high school because of really the situation. It's so hard nowadays. So without further ado, let's go to the main topic. Why do the advantage of taxes? So taxation is one of the essential functions of the government. So like I said before, why do we pay taxes? The fact lie for the taxpayer that requires compliance and planning. Income taxes, property tax, and sales tax all reduce how much money consumer have to spend, I save or spend. Whatever the sources, the tax dollars go towards some of the same purposes. So technically speaking, the advantage of taxes is that it could really be put into um, same purposes, which is to to give services for the people, like the military nowadays, or the teachers, or whatever service that the government could render. Those those taxes are the payments for those who are working in the government and other sectors. So indeed, tax is a very important. It's truly a blood of a country. And um, as we future managers or future um, whatever future that we have or what work do we have, really need to know what are the advantages of taxes and why do we pay taxes, so that one day we may not wondering why do we pay taxes. So it's really important to be educated, and this is the topic that will help you understand the advantage of taxes. So first, the funding. First is the funding of the government. One of the most basic advantage of the taxes is that they allow the government to spend money for basic operations. So, like I said a while ago, so um, without taxes, the government cannot operate, and without the operation, the people you know, will be super like hindi mo ma-imagine. Could you imagine without the government, ano mangyayari sa ating country? Like, it could be chaos. Without the military, there will be chaos. Without the banking service, how can we transact money? Without education, how can we educate the people? So, indeed, it is really used for funding the governments, for uplifting the people, to educate people, to help people, and of course, like in our situation like now, we are still in a pandemic, so it is really important that we know where our taxes go. Like, um, where do you think those medicine, those facilities, those people in the health service get gets the payment for their service? Of course, it is coming from the tax. Although some of it are still um, you know debt from other country, but all those debts will be paid also by the tax. Indeed, I'm correct. So it is indeed important that as we pay taxes, we also know that we are our responsibility is increased because we are helping those people, or we are helping the government to operate not just for ourselves. Like, di ba, kung magpipay ka ng taxes, of course, some of those people who have, malaki yung pera will tend to say na, ang laki-laki na ng taxes namin. But also, it's the beneficiary um, for those who don't have the same wealth as them. As also for this middle class, like, we also pay taxes, right? So, like the VAT and if you are in business, you could have the municipality stamp and everything. You know that those things is still um, is helping our community or is helping our people. So, indeed, it is really good to know the advantage of taxes. So let's go to the second advantage of taxes, wealth redistribution. Taxes also redistribute wealth between taxpayers and individual who receive government assistance. So yun nga, like I said a while ago, um, wealthy redistribution is mm, really para bang there is real equality through taxation kasi you are as as a person who are really wealthy, you could also help those people who are really needing public assistance and so forth. um, so um, also there are a lot as I um, research about what are the what are the or how many taxes are there in you know in in this kind of income. I really find out it's so very interesting. So let me share this to you. Wait for a moment. It's not in the PPT, but I just really want to share this to you. So there it is. If you zero to 250,000, um, tax payment is 250,000 to 400,000. You have 20% of your income plus the excess of 250,000. Then for 400,000 to 800,000 pesos, you have 30,000 plus 25% of the excess over 400,000. So it's a really huge amount of money. If you have if you are in 800,000 to 2 million, so it really increase. You will pay 130,000 plus 30,000 of the excess of 800,000. And then if your income is 2 million to 8 million, your tax to pay is 490,000 plus 32 of the excess of the 2 million. And if you are over 8 million, that means you pay 2,000 2 million 410 thousand plus the 35 percentage excess of the 8 million. So that is really a huge amount of money, and it is indeed helping the public to to have that public assistance paying from the tax of the large company. So what if your income is 1 billion? So wow, that's a really large tax to pay. So indeed the government imply wealth redistribution, that it's not just the people who are in rich who have the money will also have um, will also experience at least public assistance in how many percentage through taxation. So third, tax consumption. um, some tax only apply to a certain product which has advantage of reducing or discouraging the consumption. So taxing consumption in simple means that the tax purchase of a goods or services, it can be a form of tax sale tax, tariff, excise and other taxes consumed by goods or services. So technically speaking, if for example, if like nung nag-start ang pandemic, 'di ba? The Philippine government really ensure the there will be rice exportation or rice importation of rice come from Vietnam. So that is really hindi tayo talaga ano ba mag wondered why yung tax nagmahal ng time na yun, because some of the some of the some of the rice that we consume is coming from other countries. So yun the tax, ang consumption natin, ginagawa ng or kinikreatean ng tax. But also some of those taxes like liquihor um, used to discourage the consumer. Like as of 2018, I guess, or 2019, like 22 percentage of liquihor is 22% na ngayon ng liquihor is 22% of liquihor is tax or the price of the liquihor is increased into 22%. So that's why we could always see that the the beer or the what kind of liquihor is indeed nagtaas na sila, hindi na katulad ng dati, because is used to discourage consumer, the purchaser. Also, it's not just the liquihor, also um the the cigar, electric cigar, and so forth. So the fourth advantage of taxes. So the fourth advantage of taxes is the local taxes. These bodies, which may include state, city, country, school district, and fire district, fund everything from fire departments and roads construction to public school through the tax property owners pay each year. So local taxes like VAT, income tax, um, percentage tax, excise tax, estate tax, donors tax, documentary stamp, and tax controlled by Republic Act of 84-24. These are all local taxes. Like yung tax na yun is regulated by the local, in order na these taxes would able to help the locality. An example of that is the construction of roads, um, for example is pagpapatayo ng schools and medical staffs, or pag-create ng birthing or whatsoever that will really that will help the locality. So yun nga, um, just wanna share to you, like, di ba, wait, na those past few years, kahit ngayon, di ba, parang ini-encourage talaga ni Duterte yung federalism. So other downside word of federalism, although it's a good thing though, yun na, what if those provinces or localities don't have the same privilege as those who are in a metro cities? So technically speaking, we could say that it is really disadvantage. Kasi what if those localities cannot have the same income to the large cities? Of course, yun lang yung mariregulate niya, di ba? So it's a quite of a downside of federalism. But who knows? Maybe Duterte can change it to something like, making it a big, imbis na maging negative siya, magiging positive, or uplift yung image ng federalism sa state natin ngayon, di ba? So, the fifth advantage of tax is the special projects. So taxes are also given to voters and taxpayers the ability to select and fund special projects that fulfill their community needs. So special projects like solid waste management, of course, dito yan sa Pilipinas. Like, really we could see na this project, although some of the localities hindi siya effective, but it is really indeed a special project na kailangan talaga ng solution talaga, no? especially the solid waste management is launched to develop reduce unattended organic pollutants emission, kasi marami talaga, especially those who are in rural areas, like super hard talaga na yung solid waste management. So the taxes also, those people who pay special project taxes help also this kind of community to to enhance this image na hindi na ay hindi marumi, but clean na siya, and makikita rin na discipline yung community. So next topic would be the benefits. So tax benefits. So tax benefits is a broadly encompassing term that refers to some type of savings for a taxpayer. Tax benefits reduce a taxpayer monetary funds, federal, state, and local governments. Tax benefits are also often created as type of incentive for promoting responsible behaviors for commercial activities. So, in simple terms, tax benefit will give the parang incentive lang siya through hindi siya incentive lang, but it give us incentive to the taxpayer na um, responsible responsible tax paying, na parang parang tawag dito if if you if you go to Watson, you will get credits. Like if you pay this 1,000 or 1,000 purchases, you would be able to have the benefits of having a reduced payment because you have the discount. So parang ganun yung tax benefits. Parang nagre-reduce siya na naging incentives na to encourage the people to pay taxes. So okay, ayun nga, nasabi ko na. So, understanding tax benefits. So, tax benefits can come in a wide range forms and may be known by the variety of names. Both individual and commercial taxpayer are wise to research and maintain awareness of tax benefits for which may be eligible for. Tax deduction credits and inclusion are the benefits that reduce the amount taxpayer own annually to federal and state government. Tax shelters are another form of tax benefit that can help to lower tax through special investments. So, yun nga. Kasi ito na setting is from US. So, in US they have different meron silang mga different taxation, mortgage, investment, and so on. But in our terms, in Philippine setting, the tax benefit really helps the investor. It could be an individual or it could be in a company to know what are the benefits if they pay taxes, and what are those things that will kanang their responsibility that will help them to pay taxes, um, that will give them the benefits in a way na they will be encouraged to pay taxes. It could be in the tax deduction, tax credit, it could be exemption, or inclusion, or it could be in tax shelter. So let us all indeed discover it indeed. So first type of tax benefits is tax deduction. So a tax deduction comes reduce a taxpayer tax income. It could be in a standard or in itemized, and the standard deduction a fixed dollar amount that reduces the tax income, and the itemized deduction expenses allowed by Internal Revenue Service to decrease taxpayer taxable income. So yun nga, actually nasabi ko na some of it, like if you are in over this, for example, if you make 380,000, so your living in the Philippines, you will have tax of 36,411, and that means that your net play will be 343,589 per year in 28,632 per month. So yun nga, like I said, meron siyang range if you earn that kind of money. Like, pero if you are 250,000 yung earnings mo, wala ka namang taxes. It's just that those taxes to pay if you are 250 and so on. So yun yan, sinabi ko na nga sa um, tax individual effectiveness. It was 2000, this data was effective in 2018 to 2022. So hoping we could all learn, baka alam mo na, maging milyonaryo for instance, maging milyonaryo kaagad ako. So di ba mo laman ko, uy, ganito pala kalaki yung tax na yung tax na kailangan kong bayaran. So yun nga. But but back into the standard deduction. So hindi katulad talaga tayo ng ng US, because ang US meron silang standard deduction and itemized deduction for different yung state of life mo, if you are married, if you are single, if you are divorced. So yun in standard deduction, actually in the Philippine setting, 40% of the gross income will be deducted from your income. So in US, individually kung ano yung type of way of living. And then sa itemized deduction naman, yung gross income mo, itemized deduction can be allowed from gross income all the ordinary and necessity expenses paid or incurred during the taxable year incurring, or which are directly attributed to the development, management, operation, contract of the trade, business, exist of profession. So technically speaking, yung itemized deduction, majority ginagamit lang siya or makikita mo talaga issue for operational lang talaga siya, for larger business lang talaga siya. Hindi ko nakita yung itemized deduction dito as an individual taxpayer. Parang corporate siya, corporate. But it could be some of exist profession. So maybe those who are, mga profession like ang taas-taas na talaga, like milyonaryo na talaga yung nila, yung income nila. So, and let's proceed to the second benefit. So the second benefit is the tax credit. A tax credit is a tax benefit that is implied to annual taxation calculation, but in the different way than deduction. A tax credit is simply applied to the amount of tax owned by taxpayer after all calculation has been made. So if 1 million yung, or if for example, if 400,000 yung income mo, meron kang 20% na tax. So after that deduction, dun na tayo mag create ng tax credit, or dun na tayo mag-apply ng tax credit. So a tax credit could be refundable tax credit or non-refundable tax credit. So like in the Philippines, and for example, different talaga yung system ng US tsaka Philippines, kasi tinignan ko talaga siya, what are those tax refundable and those non-refundable tax credit. So talaga siya, in US they have like they have those mortgage, they have those investment like credits, mga ganun. But in Philippine setting talaga, yung tax credit natin is just simply, for example, if merong machineries coming from the Philippines will go to abroad, yung first 3 years of operation ng isang company through that machineries will be tax exempted according to real property tax. So yun yung parang naging tax credit ng isang company, or foreign company or Filipino company operating abroad. So yun So, yung refundable tax credit naman, if ma ma-refund ma-refund check siya if it exceeds to the tax bill. So, if 'di ba yung tax natin is or yung tax ng isang company, for example, or isang individual, um, less na siya sa income natin. So if the tax credit is nag-extend na siya, so pwede na siyang ma-refund by the government. And non-refundable tax credit does not result in refund to the taxpayer, and as it will only reduce to the tax on into zero. So yun na, it just minus the tax that a company or an individual has ano as a responsible for. So let's proceed to the tax benefits, exemption, and exclusion. So tax exclusion will arise in the form of pre-tax payment that helps a taxpayer lower their taxable bottom line income that has always exceed for tax purposes. Usually does not show up in a taxpayer tax return at all. One of the most common types of exclusion are health insurance payments, though an employer-based program. If an employer takes the health care payments on a pre-taxes, an employee's taxable income is lower at the end of the period. Parang naman, parang nagkulang ata yung PPT ko. So, in 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 Philippine setting kasi American yan, so meron silang mga insurance payments and so forth and so on. So, yung exemption and exclusion sa Philippines is covered by the Republic Act 8424. Yun nga sinabi ko, like if you income less than 250,000, so you will be exempted from the tax. You have zero tax to pay or to pay. So, fourth. Fourth benefits of tax uh, tax shelters. So, many different types of tax shelters also exist as tax benefits for taxpayer. Tax shelter is another broad term that can encompass many types of tax advantages. Generally, a tax shelter is a vehicle that has no tax requirement if the investor agree to the contracted terms. I don't know. I researched about tax shelters in the Philippines, but I don't find any blog or it's just all about tax incentives lang. But tax shelter means like for example, if ako or ako someone, I am the investor, and um, the place that I'm purchasing, I mean I'm giving to give my service or willing to give my service, um, give me zero tax if I just agreed to a certain um, certain terms. For example, like um, okay, I will operate as or I'm a Jollibee manager or a Jollibee owner, and then I will go to a certain country or to a certain to a certain to a certain country, then that country state that okay, if you will give us free foods pwede ba yun? Just an example, or if you will give us this 10% off, um 10% off of every purchase that we made, then we will give you um zero taxes. Then it's indeed that is what we call tax shelter. So that's all for my reporting. Hope you understand. Sorry, medyo nabubulol ako minsan rin, sobrang fasten yung pagsasalita ko. So hoping that you will be able to understand where your text came from, what are the benefits that we can have to our taxes and our advantages, and hope to see you soon. God bless.